is this now finally happening, do you think? Is he leaving?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's happening for 3 months and 4 months. It's been in the pipeline. These deals take quite a bit of time. City are champions. He's a top goal scorer, probably one of the best around in Europe, if not the best. It's a move that has to happen. His age, you have to take into consideration. So I can't see anything stopping it, and it doesn't surprise me. I think the fee, considering it's been a pandemic over the last sort of 18 months, and other clubs around Europe, the major giants of European football, are not being that competitive in the transfer market because they can't. The Premier League shows its muscle again and goes out and does a deal. Or, look, if it does go over the line, and I can't see any reason why it won't, that would just blow everything out the water again. You know, Kylian Mbappe's got issues with PSG. He's still not signing. They're still thinking he might want to go. There's that type of deal. But generally, you know, Barcelona are not going to be buying like they did 3, 4, 5 years ago. Real Madrid certainly not going to do the Eden Hazard deal. Maybe they could do Mbappe, but his contract is up next season. So the Kane one is just blowing everything out of the water. The first thing I think of, you know, when something like this, imagine it seems like the perfect scenario. You know, you get Jack Grealish and you get Kane. Alex Ferguson done it numerous times, improved the squad, winning teams. If they go and get him, then they don't win the title. Now, to us today, it seems they can't not win the title, doesn't it? Well, they cannot win it. They get Kane and get Grealish. You've got two great players. And some bizarre circumstances, it doesn't quite work out the way we all think, and then they don't win the title. But it's hard to think like that today, isn't it? Because with them, you're adding a hell of a lot.
Absolutely. And when you look back to the end of last season, Manchester City said goodbye to Sergio Aguero. I don't know if you remember the on-pitch sort of tributes that they led for him. Pep Guardiola was quite emotional about him, saying how much of a special person he was. He also said, we cannot replace him. They're not getting a bad replacement, is it? I mean, if it's Harry Kane.
Yeah, look, this happens a lot in sport where you just keep trying to improve and think of players that are going to give you something a little bit different. Sergio's age, opening up the wage bill. They've done, if you look at all what's happened over the last sort of 6 to 8 months of Man City, you can see that the pathway for bringing in the big moves with the wages going off the books, with people like Jack Harrison leaving to go and others, it's getting the 40 to 50 million coming from other players, and Sancho part of that deal of him going to Man United, another add-on. So they've been adding to their finances by about 40 to 50 million pound without Sergio coming off the wage bill as well. Angelino leaving to go to Leipzig. They've done all this sort of stuff in the last 6 months to make 2 big moves. Now, they've still got to get them over the line, but I think it's very, very hard. The most complex thing about these deals, if there's players involved exchanging, is them players, will they go to the clubs that are being offered to? That can be the issue. That could be a real problem. But the amount of time and effort I think they've put on this deal for the last 6 months to a year, I think it's pretty clear that they've been driven to try and do this. Yeah. Like they were driven to get Pep Guardiola. They were driving themselves to get, we need Kane.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many things for us to discuss in more detail. Like you say, the Bernardo Silva factor in all of this, as I mentioned, to sort of make way to
really
get
good
these
players there.
Well, absolutely.
Bernardo Silva, Mahrez has been rumoured. Mahrez had a fabulous season for City. Watched him against PSG, got the 2 goals in the semi-final of the Champions League, and was brilliant, I thought, at times. And he's rumoured to be on that list of players that can. Okay, he's 30 years old. It just shows you how top level it is.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And you're quite right about that, Sir Alex Ferguson, how he always refreshed his squad. He always knew he had to do that to just always improve and to always win. And we know what a serial winner he turned out to be. And, I mean, to get the quality of Harry Kane, and we haven't even thought about the Jack Grealish side of things. But, again, that's more for us to discuss throughout the show, because this is the biggest breaking transfer story this morning. And it's been long protracted about the future of Harry Kane. Tottenham fans won't be happy about us talking about it now. No, of course not. But
rightly so.
But in terms of the business side of things for Tottenham, 160 million. Originally, it was rumoured that it was around. Well, Harry Kane even said he thought he was valued at about 100 million.
He priced himself.
He did. But
I think I'm worth this.
160 million. Good business for Tottenham. But is there a problem then in what they do with that money? Because when they had the money with Gareth Bale, they didn't exactly spend it brilliantly. Maybe Christian Eriksen was the standout of all the signings they made at that time. And also, I say 160 million. I mean, it sounds a fantastic offer that you can't really turn down.
Well, whether it's just flat 160 million, I can't see, because City and Pep, I know football clubs are not totally honest at times and say they can't afford them type of deals and then do it. it's a lot of money, but they need a lot of players, in my opinion. Tottenham need a number of positions filled. I think they're well short in defence. I think they need certainly a quality midfielder and a goal-scoring midfielder. And then obviously, if you lost Kane, you've got the biggest problem of all. Who do you try and get in? Now, again, if they're getting a big fee, yes, they can be very competitive and go on. But I'm sure, it'd be really negligent of Tottenham if they haven't done their work to try and get someone in months ago, because it's been rumoured and it's been the momentum of Harry Kane's been going on and on and on, and it's now getting to the stage where it looks like it's inevitable that he goes. So they must have done their work to get someone in.
This will be a Premier League transfer record if it goes through. It's currently held by Manchester United and that Paul Pogba £89 million move. In the past, Manchester City have never spent big on one player, but they have obviously an accumulation of players. I think their record signing is Kevin De Bruyne, who was just under 70 million. So this certainly, if it goes through, and I know you've just sort of said that perhaps there'll be other factors in this with maybe players part of the deal swapping over, but it does go against the norm for City to be spending 160 million.
Well, we used to accuse Real Madrid of Galacticos, and then Barcelona did it a bit, but Real Madrid were the real Galacticos of European football. And we used to frown upon it. Just go, well, yeah, but they just keep buying the biggest and pay the biggest fees, whether it was Zidane, whether it was, Figo over the years. All these sort of deals have been happening from Real Madrid. You're now seeing British clubs do this sort of Galactico signing. And Man City has been, the pathway has always been going forward to get to a stage where you are now one of the most competitive teams in Europe, if not the world. I mean, not many clubs could do what they're doing, that sort of deal. So it's ambition that's big on. I mean, Man City fans must look back 20 years and think this last 20 years has been absolutely crazy. Chelsea fans had a similar sort of thing. Chelsea, the club I play for, it's not even close to the Chelsea of today.
Yeah.
There's no resemblance to what they were and what they are now. Man City fans are exactly the same.